think that he's good for you.
How do you know what's good for me?
That's my opinion!
Don't you get it? Why can't anybody have an opinion but you?
That I don't think that he's good. That I don't.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. Welcome in. If you are able to make the live review, I want to thank you so much for doing that. I see Cece, the moderator, one of the sister moderators, is here, and I appreciate you being here, Cece. Thank you so much. So Cece wants to welcome everyone to Sandra P's Gen Extra. Please like, comment, subscribe, ensure you get all of the wonderful content. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate that. So you like, comment, subscribe, and you will get all of the wonderful the contents that the channel has to offer. Thank you. Here is Toot Latrice, our friend Toot. Hello, welcome in, Toot Toot. Beep Beep. Hey, hey. Thank you so much for joining us. She's speaking to myself. Toot, anyone else in the chat, excuse me, if there's anyone in the bushes, I thank you for being here, and I appreciate everyone that can join me during this live. As we can see, the backdrop, this is part 2. The ladies, Real Housewives of Atlanta, it's season 17. They are actually going to pick up exactly where they left off, with everybody trying to jump Shamia. Shamia, baby, you are not equipped. We find out they even had a meeting, and guess what? She's still not ready. So I don't know. I'll try to help as much as I can, but Shamia, I don't know what we're going to be able to do with you. CC is speaking to myself, to Toot. I am speaking to CC, to Toot. So welcome in, everybody. Please click the like button as you come in. I really appreciate that. This is part 2. Also, I will go over a little bit of part 1. So we'll talk about that. It's a pretty good reunion so far, but as always, I have to admit, I think Andy Cohen has oversold it a little bit. He acts like it's the best thing that happened since sliced bread. So I don't know where he got that from. I don't agree, but it's okay. It's okay. Everybody came to work, including K. Michelle. Thank you, K. Michelle. We found out some things about how she had been experiencing the season and treating Twitter as a confessional. Okay, that doesn't make any sense, but we'll get to it. So the ladies are still sitting there. We'll start a little bit from the end of part 1, because I did a tiny update while I was away. I spent most of my vacationing, and I didn't really do content. But Michelle, K. Michelle and Shamia were still going at each other about this dinner that they had with Kelly. Kelly's sitting in the middle. Kelly looks very uncomfortable. And then Shamia is saying, well, go ahead. I'm going to let Kay say whatever it is, because you told everybody. Kay saying, no, I didn't. You actually did. These two are such professional liars. I can't really tell who's lying. Shamia kind of has a tell. She starts to look a little more nervous. Kay is a big liar as well, but she's more practiced to me. So she's telling a little bit more about what happened at this dinner. Kay allegedly kind of hopped up. Kay saying, you ain't going to keep lying. You going to tell the truth. Now, Kay, this is not a child of yours. You only get to do that to your son, and no longer because he's an adult. So she's saying that she said that to Shamia. She's lying to my face, and I'm telling her, you can't do that. Angela's trying to weigh in. Shamia, this is why people get angry at you, because you lie in their face. Angela, we'll get to you. You are a professional liar as well. You've been caught in lies. And I don't understand why Angela's able to weigh in whenever she wants to. But if the other group is talking and Shamia says something, it's a big thing. But that's what we're doing. So Kay is asking, now, Shamia, you think I'm going to hit you? If you're jumping up, you never really know what anybody's going to do until they do it. Why be aggressive, Kay, when you can just use your words? So they are attacking each other. Andy's trying to find out what happened. Kay is a practiced, okay, look this way. Because Kay, I don't know if everything Kay said was true. I actually don't believe some of it. But she says, and my mama wouldn't be in the club. She's still talking about mamas. She brought up Mama Morton again, with the girls up to her chin in the church blazer. I saw the picture of it. I think K. Michelle's lying about that part and calling her a Jezebel. Her is Portia. So we see Phaedra and also Drew. They're acting like somebody attempted to kill Portia on the stage. This is crazy. Portia's, keep my mother's MFing name out your mouth. Shamia said, keep my mother's MFing name out your mouth. When Portia says something, It's okay. When Shamia says it, it's like, so even Andy's like, okay, can we stop talking about the mothers? Andy, please have them stop talking about the mothers because each one of them started with the other's mother. We saw Madame Diane start last season about the dog with the bone, all this stuff online about the daycare. Actually, I'm tired of hearing it. So we get to see beautiful Cynthia Bailey. She is brought out, and I'm glad to see Cynthia. Portia made me laugh. She said, not Cynthia sleeping in. Cynthia was actually, I watched it on Peacock to give the extended version. Cynthia was actually the first one to arrive, Miss Portia. So she is friend of, but she's putting in work more than some of you ladies that actually hold a peach. Cynthia comes out. Andy and everyone on both couches are glad to see Cynthia. I feel like Andy is just a little too biased, not during only this reunion, but just watch what happens live. Everything that he does, now he's doing that radio show. He's too biased and I don't like it. Cynthia Bailey, of course, wants to know her catchphrase. What else is going on? Andy's joking around. Kay is a gay man. Pinky's pregnant. Drew's divorced. Portia and Phaedra both dated Mike. So Mike is just a renter man, I guess. Renter Mike. Let's see. Cece is speaking to everyone as they come in. Lies all around. Cece don't call everybody a liar, and I agree. I like to be able to pick sides a little bit, though I value being objective. Kay, you're lying. Shamia, you're lying. Portia, you've been known to lie as well. And Kelly, you getting ready to lie, so I'm just going to pull you in there with your little self. Everyone's speaking to American Born as she comes in. American Born, don't stay away from me. I'm glad to see you during the live. Thank you for joining. Sharon Gobbo, welcome in. Hello, Sharon Gobbo. Hey, Sandra Peach, Gen Extra, and chat. Everyone is speaking to American Born and also Sharon. Thank you so much for joining us during the live. So you already know the drill. If you come in, click the like button, use it as a doorbell. Some of you like to actually click it on the way out. That's fine as well. But if your team replay, you get the extra bonus of giving me one of the hypes. Use them sparingly on a growing creator. You only get 3 per week. If you have any left, please let me hold one. Thank you. So everyone is speaking to each other. There's a lot of crosstalk. We've established that most of these ladies have been known to lie. Some of them are better at it than others. So we're catching Cynthia Bailey up on what's going on. And Andy is filling her in. He calls her America's friend. Cynthia, I would have loved to have that be the case. And in this chat, there was some talk of Lake Bailey being kind of like a place where you can have a peace summit, almost a United Nations for the housewives. Cynthia, you've become a little biased as well. And judging from your placement on the couch, I think that you don't have a problem being biased. And I listen to you and Crystal over there on Humble Brag, and you use that as well to put your agenda. I don't like the gang up everybody. Shamia is annoying. She never remembers what she says. She does try to create alliances, but she's no worse than any of these other ladies in my eyes. So when you gang up, I get tired of you real quick. So that's what's going on before. Portia is trying to side with K. Michelle and not make anything that happened as far as K. Michelle wanting to be a part of an alliance. That's not her fault. That's Shamia's fault. So Portia's like, oh. And Kay's like, what are you over there huffing and puffing about? I just feel like your experience was changed. You didn't get a chance to judge people for yourself. There was manipulation. There was isolation. Portia, you've been watching a lot of content. I've never heard you use this type phrasing and words. You've been thoroughly coached for this reunion. But of course, later we're going to accuse the other couch of conspiring. And they do conspire. But they're so dumb, it always comes out. And they always tell on each other. But I don't think for a second that Portia, Phaedra, everybody on that other side of the couch didn't meet as well. So Shamia, being a terrible liar, says, I did. Sure. I told you to be my loyal friend. I asked you to be my loyal friend. Absolutely. And what I was telling you about, the ones that don't want me to be friends, they're not on this cast. Shamia, that's even worse. Why are you trying to make this lady judge this cast by her experience with people that she worked with years ago, over a decade ago, and we know none of that went well. So we know she's talking about the Candy Coated Knights bunch, which is Candy Barris, Rashida. I forgot who else she gets into it with over there. That whole crew. Is it Karma? I don't think Karma got nothing to do with that, but it's a lot of them. They all went on vacation and had Shamia shake, rattling, rolling over there in Phuket, Thailand. So Kay is trying to get Andy's attention. Mr. Andy. Kay is especially country when she's trying to be innocent. She's doing that raccoon thing. Kay, I don't like that. You don't have to do that. I can't stand when she does it. Andy likes it. So I expected her to get up and start singing Jesus and whiskey, but she didn't. She said she started on like, I only had a half a cup of whiskey. I didn't even get to 2 cups of whiskey. Okay, you're doing a lot. So she didn't even get to 2 cups of whiskey. She just got half a cup of whiskey, half a cup of Jesus and whiskey. And Shamia is still trying to interrupt her. Shamia, you did try to steer K. Michelle toward your side of the group once you know Portia was in charge of the girls. So stop lying. Ophelia Burkhalter, you came in. Hello. Shayna McD, thank you so much for coming in. Everyone, Shayna McD is a wonderful content creator. And if you watch reality TV, scripted TV, if you like panels, you can get that over at Shayna McD as well. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Ophelia Burkhalter is here, speaking to myself and everyone. Everybody, please greet Ophelia. Hello. Thank you for coming in during the live. And then there is a lot of greetings, waves, hugs, and all of that. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. And I love having a place where people feel comfortable. You come in, you talk to each other. We can be objective. We can have our faves, but it's a safe space. So Kelly is sitting there. Kelly, you're not piping up enough. And your big mouth, your little big mouth, usually you got a lot to say. So Shamia's kind of losing the argument. I'm so glad I wasn't the only one there. And she said, Kelly. So she's asking for Kelly to kind of co-sign. Why am I in it? Kelly, because you were there. So Kelly says, I don't want to be in the middle. And he said, you're literally in the middle. So Kelly's in the middle. Now we are asking her. Thank you so much, Shayna. She loves my comment. Thank you so much. So he's asking her, okay, what's going on? Kay says, I start banging the table and she was straight line to my face. So I smacked the table. That's what Shamia said. She says you were all in her face. Shamia says, and then she says, I'll beat your ass. So I was back on my twos. Andy said, on your twos. Shamia, stop giving Andy our little phrasing because he's going to be saying that to Anderson Cooper or somebody. Andy just loves taking all of our goodness, but then always treats us as seconds. So yeah, he's writing this down in his little notepad of what he's going to steal and say to Jeff Lewis on the radio show. So Shamia, she's a shrinking violet. She backs up and Kay is upset because Shamia's lying to her face. Kay, you lie. Shamia lie. Kelly lie. That whole couch lies. This other couch lies as well. And a couple of them have been fired for it, or at least paused. So Kay's innocent. I was going to beat you up, Shamia. Again, I don't agree with it. You got enough words, Kay. You didn't have to jump in this lady's face. Well, I was just jumping up because she was lying and it's frustrating. Angela's jumping in, giving her opinion. That's how people get mad at you, Shamia. And Kay saying, I jump in my sister's face. Shamia is not your sister. Your sister will allow you to do things that other people will not allow you to do. So that's the thing that I don't like. Shamia goes back to something that we don't really care about anymore, Shamia. I think the expiration date is up. Andy, I have a timestamp. This is why people call her corny. The timestamp. She said my mama was there at 2 a.m. My mama was there like 11:50 something. Shamia, your mama shouldn't have been there at all. Because then K. Michelle gets to say, and FaceTime her husband in the club. Y'all, she had toothless. And I saw that he had teeth, but I like thinking of him as toothless. I find that pretty funny. Woke Papa Morton up out the bed, FaceTimed him, and I guess wanted him to confirm a story that Madam Diane wanted him to clean up some pipes or something or fix some pipes. Now, Madam Diane, what room were the pipes in? Were you in the same room that the pipes were in? What was wrong with the pipes? And what did you expect Papa Morton to do? Why didn't you call a regular plumber or one of Hosea Feed the Hungry friends? Y'all, this whole thing was stupid. So Portia wants her name, her mama's name kept out of her MF mouth. Shamia wants the same. Andy wants the same. He's claiming he does, but I think he kind of like it. I am kind of over the mamas, unless you're going to have them on a little more, unless we're going to include their story. I don't want to hear any more about Shamia, Madam Diane, Mama Morton, Papa Morton, homeless, not toothless, none of that. We're tired of it. This is just too much. So Cynthia, we find out what else is going on from her. Andy asked her if she's still with the prince. Yes. Are you thinking about marriage? Absolutely not. Are you going to make any more music? She started grinning. We find out that she was singing the mid-season song. So the ladies, I love their reaction to that. They play the song. Everybody's grooving on the song. So that was really cute. Kelly wants the other couch if they could talk together without everybody else weighing in. And Andy had the nerve to tell Kelly, don't address them, just address Shamia and somebody else, I think maybe Portia. Don't address the rest of the ladies. They keep jumping in. They're interjecting. So Andy, your slip is showing Andy Cohen. Y'all, I'm tired of Andy Cohen. I don't think he's equipped to host these reunions. He actually is a little too biased, in my opinion. Angela had a read that she needed to use. She threw it out. Now, Angela, it was funny, but I don't know if it was the appropriate time. When Kelly was talking, Angela wants to know, Kelly, are you homeless? Is that true that you're homeless? Kelly said, is that all you got? Angela tells her, you're going to be frying chicken at Shamia's house. You're going to be frying chicken at Shamia's house. Andy, why don't you tell Angela to stop interjecting? But it was funny, so he allowed it. Kelly said, nobody on that other sofa even has a brick and mortar. Phaedra rises up. I have plenty of businesses. Angela said, me too. Phaedra said, I'll put my bank account next to anyone. Phaedra, I actually would too. I think if I would trade places with anyone's account, it would be Phaedra's. So Shamia, actually, who was the one that was supposed to finish whatever it was she was saying, didn't really get to finish it because everybody jumped in. And Shamia, you're probably going to tell another lie anyway. So can we leave the club in the background? We don't really care about that. Cynthia, they go to commercial, come back. Andy says, Cynthia's doing the Lord's work during the commercial. So I guess Cynthia's still trying to both sides it a little bit. And I'm going to read a little comments. Y'all, I have to go on off camera for a second because I got to turn the air on in here. It was 102 degrees today in Charlotte. And I am still trying to get fluids and everything back in me and cool down. Cece said, Papa Morton is a toothless but not homeless. Kelly is the opposite. Kelly, yes, absolutely, Cece. The exact opposite. She got $70,000 worth of teeth and no place to stay. Kelly, where you going to put all them teeth? I believe Phaedra has it like that. I think so too, Cece. I think that Phaedra, after Apollo, served that time for them, and then she got into the thing with her job was paused. She probably told herself, nobody's ever going to be able to hold my financial freedom over my head again. And I really admire Phaedra for her work ethic and for everything that she has done. So they can't say anything to Phaedra. We're going to see Pinky later try to say something, and it's not working. AB is co-signing and laughing with Cece, and I agree. So Cynthia has had a lot going on. She's got her podcast. She's singing. She's got Le Prince for a couple of years. So I'm proud of Cynthia. Congratulations, Cynthia. But I would like to see Cynthia be a little more neutral if she's going to be friend of and veteran and that sort of thing. And then the tagline is blowing up. What else is going on? So I love that. Y'all, was that why Papa Smurf resurfaced? He's out here in social media, and I hadn't seen Peter in a while. Pinky is covered in a green choir robe. Andy talks to her and calls her something like a bankruptcy baddie. Andy, that's not a thing. I don't actually like that. I love that she has not been ashamed of using that as a financial tool, but I have to agree with Phaedra when Phaedra says no one's trying to shame her for that, but she's kind of bragging about it. So she said the Slutty Vegan was $100 million brand. The stores that she opened, it costs $900,000 per store. It's not me. It's the people I chose to run the restaurant. Pinky, that's still you. These are people that you hired. And then Phaedra lets it be known that a lot of Black people lost their money. She knows of a particular investor lost up to $25 million. And Pinky's hearing none of it. A lot of white people gave me money too. Pinky, that's not Phaedra's point. And then she names all these other companies, Bed Bath & Beyond, everybody, Red Lobster, other people that have filed for bankruptcy, and they're not ashamed of it. They see it as a tool. And Angela gives a good point. She says, well, they're not bragging about being able to wipe their A with $89,000. We see Phaedra say, you got that, pay it to the rent man. We see Derek offering that imaginary $5 million gift. A viewer wants to know, why didn't you take it? We find out that the businesses had already been dissolved. So that is the reason why she didn't take Derek's money. That and maybe the fact that he didn't have it. So we don't know. I don't know. That's what they're saying. And I'm sorry, but let me pick up the rest of my notes. Cece's getting on Pinky. Oh, AB, you love Cynthia's song? Yeah, I loved it. It was kind of techno, but it had all of them bopping. Andy loves himself some Cynthia Bailey. AB says Pinky gets on my nerves. She gets on mine too, but I'm glad she is here because she always has something to come back with. She doesn't let them just yell over her. She stands up and defends herself. Cece said, I bet Papa Smurf wants to get back on our HOA. He wants Cynthia to use him as a storyline. I think so too, Cece. Hopefully Cynthia won't do that. I'm kind of sick of Peter trying to take over. AB says this, she should have kept an eye on her business better, in my opinion. Exactly. I feel the same way. We're not going to turn that into something to be proud of, like it's something cute. And people did lose money. Cece says, Panky toe blaming everyone but herself. If she's a CEO, she should have check and balances mechanisms in place to prevent the foolery her staff did. Exactly. And there were not just the investors. Somebody has $25 million to lose. In most cases, that's not going to make or break them. I saw a girl on TikTok that Pinky did not pay her. This girl sometime would get a Cash App or a PayPal and that kind of stuff. Rent doesn't like to accept stuff like that. You need your money. So that is not right for Pinky to do that and then act like it's no big deal. And she can wipe her A with $89,000. Pinky, we can't side with you on this. I'm sorry. Exactly. Peter would love to get back on TV, Cece. He absolutely would. And I hope Cynthia is not foolish enough to do it. She let them rob her blind. And she's the one, she's the HBIC. That's your company. So you are the one hiring. Same crap Kelly was doing, AB. Kelly was, but you think that shut her big mouth? No, it did not. So Kelly's over there. Everybody's piping up saying that whatever it is they're saying to Pinky. Phaedra was trying to give Pinky some pretty good advice, and Pinky didn't want to hear it. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to resort to paper notes at this time. So let me just pull them out, and then I'll get back on camera. All right. So we finished the club conversation. Kelly backed down a little bit. Pinky, and then she has the nerve to tell Phaedra, let me tell you a little something about business. And she said, Phaedra said, you don't have to tell me anything about business. I've run many businesses. And that's true. Phaedra has run many businesses. And then she also has the nerve to tell her, well, if you're that experienced in running business and being a lawyer, win a case. Cynthia said that to Phaedra some time ago, win a case when they got into it. So Pinky, that doesn't really count. I don't know. I thought that was crazy. Pinky gets a little, she gets pregnant. So Pinky, I'm going to side with you on this. She said, nobody knows my walk. Nobody knows this. What am I'm supposed to sit around crying? Kay Michelle had to jump in and save her. Kay said, I want everybody to know. She might not have told y'all she's sitting around crying. She called me. This lady called me. She cried all night. So Kay Michelle, thank you for telling us that Pinky cried all night, because all she was telling us is that she could wipe her A with $89,000. So that's what Phaedra and everybody was referring to. So they had a little bit of more compassion on Pinky. And Derek, you should have just gave her the money whether the business was already dissolved or not. Thank you, CC. 5 likes, 10 in the live. 5 more, y'all. Jump out there and click the like. Thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe to ensure as Sandra P's Gen Extra moves up in the YouTube algorithms. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate that. Cynthia should start charging the girls for using that old win a case line. Thank you, CC. And I think these old recycled reads make the girls look like fans. And I love the fact that Portia, of all people, is actually going to call Miss Kelly out on that later. So Pinky, don't do that. I don't like that. So Pinky called out Red Lobster, Bed Bath & Beyond, everybody like that. Phaedra's trying to tell her, we're not trying to shame you over bankruptcy, but you shouldn't be bragging about the fact that you've got all this, you've got all that, and you're still struggling. Kelly is screeching. Kelly, I don't know why you're screeching. Yeah, we're not trying to shame nobody. Angela filed for bankruptcy last year. Angela said, except I did not. I did not. Now, y'all, I don't know details on that or not. Angela was very candid about her houses, the portfolio of $2 million worth of homes that she lost. She didn't say she filed for bankruptcy, I don't think. I think she let some of them go into foreclosure. Those are two different processes, Kelly. So why are you screeching? She ends up calling Angela Bigfoot. That's Shamia's line. Kelly, why are you calling this lady Bigfoot? So, well, Angela did say that you were homeless, not toothless. So I'm going to give you that, Kelly. She called her Bigfoot. Angela's saying she didn't file last year. And Phaedra is saying, if you got so much money, because Phaedra's activated, y'all. Pinky woke Phaedra up from the end of the couch. If you got so much money, why were the kids' dental bills in your bankruptcy? Pinky said, am I supposed to be embarrassed about that? Somebody said, no, you're not. Pinky, yes, you should. You've got 4 children under the age of 5. Them little teeth, I bet they don't have 32 teeth together. When you go in, I've taken kids to those little appointments. They brush their teeth. They count them. They give them a little toothbrush, give them a little toothpaste. You could have paid that out of hand. You give that dentist their money, Pinky. You're going to file for bankruptcy on that? Yes, you should be ashamed of that. You too, Derek. And I'm going to get on you later about how you talk to Pinky during her break. Those are corporate businesses. Thank you, American Born. Pinky Toe, that's Cece's name for her. Does Queen Sheba call her that over there? Pinky is not the same as Bed Bath & Beyond. So I don't like the fact that she's doing that. Red Lobster, all this kind of stuff. I never saw a bankruptcy in Angela's name. Thank you, American Born. And there's people out there digging because they are talking about her being banned over there and her licenses taken, financial licenses taken through FINRA. And that's serious, y'all. Lifetime ban. Angela's online read for Kelly. Angela came ready. A cookbook with no kitchen. How dreadful. Kelly. And then y'all, Charles actually won that waffle off last year. So Kelly, one of the little twins was saying, you can't even cook before that big shoe deacon you were married to took them off TV. I remember him saying, Mommy don't really cook like that. Welcome in, Kiwan JTV. This is another one of my fellow content creators. It is great to see you in the live. I hope you're well. Hey, y'all, I'm just waving. I can't stay long, but I'll catch the replay game. Thank you so much, Kiwan JTV. Everyone knows what to do. If you're not already over at Kiwan JTV's, please make sure you are over there. She's scripted TV, reality TV, just everything. Very engaging, fun, candid. I love it over at Kiwan JTV, and you will too. So please like, subscribe, make sure that you know Kiwan JTV. And thank you for your support. AB says, right, why didn't Pinky's husband pay for their dental bills? Shaking my head. It's ridiculous. All them little kids in there, and then put that in the bankruptcy thing. And then Pinky, that man has to wait for his money, or if it's a woman, she has to wait for her money, and you could have just paid at the visit. You said you're balling. Kelly deserved everything she got. AB, she does. But I'm going to tell you one thing I like about Kelly. Kelly lives to fight another day, because I want people that don't like that side of the couch. What is the show going to look like if Portia is the HBIC? Okay, Portia, you can be HBIC, but she has no pushback. She's in charge of the girls, and nobody can ever say she's wrong. Drew, Angela, everybody's whatever you like, whatever you like. We need somebody to push back on old Portia, because P. Willie getting ready to run over these girls. I'll tell you that right now. Oh, and before I leave, Drew is vindicated. I would say that she was Kiwan JTV, but I don't like her laying down for Portia. I want her to be able to stand 10 toes down in her own stuff, because Portia used to get on Drew too. Matter of fact, last season, she dragged Drew for all she was worth. And then now this season, everybody's buddied up. So let's see. They're talking about broke housewives. Kelly being homeless, not toothless. Angela, that was not right. And Pinky had the nerve to say, I would not have been casted. Pinky is cast. I would not have been casted if my bank account didn't stand up. And everybody said, nah, that's not true. Pinky, did you miss last season where we had Britt Eady? They gave a tampon and $2 to Grenada, or wherever it was that went. They went. I don't know how she missed that, but Pinky said she wouldn't have been cast. Andy saying we don't check bank accounts. And the rest of the ladies confirmed, yeah, they don't check bank accounts like that. So y'all, that was crazy. AB's laughing at Kiwan J's defense of Drew, because if one thing Kiwan J gonna do is defend Drew. And Drew defends herself. But I do want to see her stand up to Portia a little more. Cece says, I like pushback, but Kelly is so crass. She can't even get a point else without yelling or cussing. That's my problem with her too, CC. She is too loud. And Angela gives her a read later where she said she had a microphone or something she said about her, the volume of her voice. Kelly, we know you are little and you're way down there, but you don't have to project like that. It just, it's too much. AB said they had to buddy up because Shamia making it them versus us. But AB, when Shamia did that alliance mess last year, she actually was trying to include Portia and stop the new girl alliance from attacking Portia. Kelly was the one that jumped up in Portia's face anyway. Cece, I cackled when Andy said maybe they should start looking at accounts. Cece, Andy getting tired of all this social media news. And Angela, people getting ready to dig in your record since you talking about people being broke so much. The viewer question, a viewer from Lithuania. Let me see. I'll bring the question up, but I can't remember what it was. Phaedra, oh, Kelly got called out. I think a viewer wanted to know, or either Andy. Kelly, did you ever come clean about you saying that Pinky eat meat? Kelly has some kind of long story about it. Phaedra took the blame for that. And Phaedra is saying Pinky never apologized to me. She's saying that talking up underneath my wig and I eat cadavers and all this kind of stuff. Pinky said, I'm not going to apologize to you. Phaedra wants to know why. So Pinky is being a little incognito, but I couldn't get the whole details of it. It sounds like Pinky might have went upstairs, not Pinky, but Phaedra might have went upstairs on Pinky. And it turns out that she didn't go upstairs on Pinky. Pinky might have threatened Phaedra with some type of device. Pinky, what kind of device? Were you talking like whips and chains and everything? Stop threatening people. Pinky's not a master reader, but there's no need for her to have to defend herself with any type device against Phaedra of all people. Phaedra has so many different connections worldwide. Phaedra wouldn't be caught dead fighting on TV. It's not going to happen. So, K. Michelle, Pinky, whomever else likes to jump up in people's face, stop doing it. It's not necessary on this cast. Portia's even been redeemed. Portia said that she went to her anger management. She's not going to fight and run down alleys no more. And for right now, I believe her. We haven't seen P. Willie yet, and y'all been trying to provoke her, especially you, Shamia. So Andy says, Kelly, before she got out from under it, I used to see her at Davio's all the time, and I just didn't know that she had her own specialized menu at Davio's, and so I apologize for that. She's laughing like it's something cute. Pinky accepts the apology, but Pinky is not going to apologize back to Phaedra. Pinky, I feel like you should apologize to Phaedra. You eating meat is not the same as Phaedra over there eating dead people, and that's one of her many businesses. So Pinky, that was wrong. Let me go through the comments and then we'll go back. Cece said, Pinky sure didn't have smoke for Kelly, who says she ate meat. Thank you, Cece. She was mad at Phaedra, and it was Kelly's rumor. And then Shamia had to chime in because Shamia said, oh, yeah, by the way, the Jamaican restaurant, I misheard you, girl. I thought you said she over there eating, not just serving. Shamia, you're lying. You jumped on that rumor as well. But Andy said, Shamia, do you just want to go on ahead and apologize? Shamia starts again. I'm sorry. Shamia, you come back season 18, you better not apologize to anybody for anything. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of this lady apologizing. Oh, yeah, here we go. AB says, Pinky claimed Phaedra was going upstairs on her, and she didn't. Yes, American born. And Andy, this is where his thumb is on the scale. He makes me sick. I want to vouch. I've known Phaedra for X amount of years, and other than the time we had to fire her for lying on one of our money makers, Candy, and then we hired her back, hired Portia back, and Candy's not ever going to be back because she won't work with them. I agree and believe in what she says. So Phaedra's sitting there like, I didn't call nobody. And Pinky kind of had egg on her face. So Pinky, she didn't run upstairs on you. And Phaedra said, if I wanted to, I could have. So that's true. But Phaedra, you being just hired back, I don't feel like you would have been running up in them people's face at Bravo. Ophelia is speaking to Kiwan J. Cece says, I think Phaedra maybe went to production. Pinky wouldn't let specifics come out, so I believe Faye. Yeah, Cece, Pinky was a little bit cryptic over that. She said, I did not say it. And Phaedra said, yes, you did. Now, Phaedra being a known liar, Pinky, you've been caught in lies as well. So in this situation, I would say more likely than not, Phaedra's telling the truth in this case, because she could have went to Andy, whomever else, but she might have just went to her producer. You know how they have their own producers. So, hey, Pinky said something I don't like. That happened last season. Kenya's still not back on her job after she was threatened and you didn't take action. So, what are we going to do? And I think that probably was just where it ended. Cece said years ago, Phaedra almost threw her purse in Kenya's face. She sure did. Phaedra used to be a lot more, a lot less Southern Belle if Apollo was involved. And there was something in Kenya that brought out the worst in Phaedra. Miss Southern Belle. And AB said, did anyone notice how they all moved up before Cynthia came out and got fooled when Cynthia got to sit next to Portia? No, I didn't. We should have known that Cynthia was going to be on that couch. And Andy loves himself some Cynthia. So, y'all, that was crazy. So, let's see. Pinky says, I'm the kind of girl I can move past it. Andy is saying, how did that end with Phaedra and Pinky? Phaedra said, we knew each other before this. So I was surprised by the weird energy. We never had a problem with each other. And Pinky says, if we did, I was surprised too. We don't have a problem with each other. We're fine. She made my vegan food. Y'all remember she went to Phaedra's house when they had the sound baths. She played the flute for me. Everything is good. Everything is good. So Andy said, everything's good. Sweet lady, would you be ours? Hi, everyone. Hi, sweet lady. Thank you for jumping into the live review discussion of second part of the reunion. These ladies are acting a fool. They're sitting up here lying like crazy. And right now we're talking about Pinky and Phaedra, who had a whole argument about bankruptcy, going upstairs. And then we find out that everything is everything with them. They're okay. Cece saw it. She said, I caught it. And she's laughing that Cynthia got to sit next to Portia. AB says it made me laugh. Yeah, that's not how they usually do the friend ofs, but Cynthia is an elevated status as a friend of, and I actually agree with that. So nobody went upstairs on Pinky. So Pinky stopped threatening people. They're fine. Pinky's able to move past things. Another viewer question, why didn't she let Derek pay? Again, she said that the bankruptcy had already been discharged. So y'all could please stop talking about that. I don't know if Derek had $5 million or not, but if it's discharged, why would he pay it? Other than the fact that you want to make people whole that you owed. So next, Pinky and Drew get into it about the project. Pinky, I think you're lying. There's a real big name company that's done picked up my story, but nothing is really finalized yet, so I can't really talk about it. A viewer wants to know, why did Drew show up to the event but then decide not to participate in auditioning for the role? Drew starts her talking. Well, I'm a child actor. I was on Sister Sister and T-Boz and all this kind of stuff. We've seen Drew on TV for the better part of 30 plus years. That is a fact. So Drew is talking about why she needed to be more professional than Pinky was being with her project. And Pinky saying, and then another thing she did, got the nerve to call my stuff a cattle call. Pinky is informed by Andy and Drew that cattle call is a common term that is used when a bunch of actors come in and they're doing these go-sees. So nobody was trying to actually insult Pinky. Pinky was just waiting to be insulted because it was Drew. And Pinky, you might have been trying to show off a little bit in front of our girl, Notori Norton. Stop doing that. Andy asking Pinky something about lesbian relationship. Andy, why are you doing this? He is so interested in this. Pinky had the nerve. You can't embarrass Pinky because she just say whatever. She said she used to munch on carpets, but she don't do it right now because you're married, right, Pinky? Unless there's a wife in the basement. I didn't understand this whole line of questioning, but she said it's fun for 2 weeks and then they get clingy. Portia took that over. I'm a clinger. Sway put you in that private jet, so we know you a clinger. They start talking about U-Hauls. Andy's joking about how in love the women get once they start loving each other. I don't know. I don't really have a lot of curiosity about it. My one question is kind of stupid. If they're the same size, do they wear each other's clothes? Because that would be a consideration. If somebody's well-dressed and they're dating another woman and they're the same clothes, and they're the same size, do you wear their clothes? So if anybody knows, let us know. AB just says it. Get out of here, Pinky. She's not. Pinky gonna say what she want to say. Y'all know Pinky don't never stop talking. But she was kind of wrong with Drew. I don't blame Drew. And then Drew also got it in the fact that I'm a member of SAG and I've been in acting all these years. And Kelly's over there talking about Tubi movies. Kelly, There's nothing wrong with Tubi movies. Stop doing that. Shamia does Tubi movies and whoever else will ask her. So don't do that. AB says Drew is legit. She does have to go through her union reps. That is another thing she said. She's union. She can't just show up and then take a job and do all this stuff. Even Todd and Candy did everything by the book. Other than having her do that love scene in the bed. Y'all, I thought that was a little too familiar. Candy and Todd, I can't believe y'all did that. Cece says, Drew was right to not audition since Pinky's team did not follow the correct steps. Drew is a SAG member. And Cece, Portia even said, well, Pinky, why didn't you have all your paperwork together? Pinky's like, I just, XYZ, I forgot. Okay, y'all, go ahead. Go back to the Scotland conversation. A mess. Elisa Triplet, welcome in. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us during the live. We are just talking about these ladies. 100. Cece, she has too. Cece says, leave my clothes alone. Oh, Cece, you will be a selfish one? Okay. Well, Cece has a husband, so Cece's husband's not trying to wear her clothes. So if she ever got out there like Pinky, the woman wouldn't be either. I don't know. I guess it just depends on if you maybe wear that style, because I don't see Portia and Sway in the same clothes. But I think Sway is a little more thinly built than Portia. Portia is like a va-va-voom, and Sway is more like a sporty spice. Everyone speaking to Elisa Triplet. Yes, hello. Thank you for coming into the live. Angela A., welcome in. This is my moderator, my friend, my travel buddy, and I am thrilled to see you in my live. I hope you're doing well. Hey, Sandra P., sis, mods, chat. So she's a sister moderator as well. She stays busy. I'm glad to see you in the live. I hope you've been well. Thank you. So we're talking about these peaches. They're a mess. Cynthia has just come out. Andy has talked up under their clothes. Pinky, let it be known, you can't shame me because I'll say whatever I want to say about myself. And they're just kind of chopping it up a little bit. I think this is what Andy liked. It wasn't super formal. They had questions that the ladies were asking each other. They claimed they didn't like it, but they had their ears like this when a Peach question came up. So they had questions they asked of each other. They had Andy Cohen questions. They also had viewer questions. So I think that's what Andy liked about it. Again, we have Andy bringing up Shamia versus Angela, and then the George and Ashley situation. Y'all, this was so boring. I didn't like it. They argued about it again. So Angela is sitting there telling a lie. She says, they want to know how's Angela vindicated, which she wasn't. Drew said that, and it's not true. Angela says, well, she didn't mention sex. And Shamia said, yes, you did. Andy even admitted that, yes, she did. But Portia says, I kind of think it's two different things. Portia, I kind of think you're lying and you just want to take up for Angela because you're no longer friends with Shamia. But Shamia says that she never slept with George. She met George and Ashley at the same time. And she doesn't know why Angela made that up about her and George. Andy asked Shamia, how did you know him? Shamia gives us a long story when she could have just said, I've done some work with him and his organization through my charity. But Shamia being Shamia, she said a lot of other stuff that I started to zone out a little bit. Y'all, they had their lunch break. Here's where I want to get on Derek. Derek, I went back and forth on you, but I'm tired of you again, and I don't care for you. Pinky goes backstage. She said, I'm just swollen. Pinky, you look beautiful. She's full face, full figured, full everything in her choir robe. She said, I'm swollen, my face, my body. He said, also your head. Derek, what a husband would say is, Mommy, you look beautiful. But Derek being Derek, that's not what he said. And y'all, that kind of got on my nerves. So they have their break. They come back. Everyone's welcoming in and speaking to Angela A. AB said, please don't let George come back. AB, he can take that treatment over to Tubi. Yes, Kelly, Tubi or wherever else, but we don't want him on this show, or Ashley. Well, to be fair, Shamia co-signs everything Kelly does. AB, I think that Kelly is speaking for her. Cece says 8 likes, 12 in the live. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. Please like, comment, and subscribe to ensure as Sandra P. Gen Extra moves up in the YouTube algorithm. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. And Angela A. is speaking back to everybody. So Portia jumps in again while Shamia versus Angela was going on. Y'all, this went on like that kind of most of the night. I didn't like the fact that Shamia versus Angela would turn into Shamia versus that whole couch. Whereas Kelly, Now, you little hobbit, you spoke up a little bit, but not as much as you could have for your friend. Cece speaking on Derek. Pinky's husband is a hater. He likes to embarrass her. Can't be trusted. Cece, I was so shocked when he said that and it was a FaceTime call. You know that your wife is being filmed, Derek. I guess he wasn't in New York because he was home with the kids. But if she was feeling any kind of way as far as bloated or anything like that, she's pregnant. And then we find out, oh, big mouth, desperate Claudia spilled her tea about being pregnant before she got a chance to do it. Just disgraceful. I can't stand it. And AB says, I agree, CC. I wouldn't doubt if he doesn't leave her. He better not. Get ready to have another baby. Thank you, Angela A, so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for my 1999 super sticker. I appreciate that. Thank you. So Angela and Shamia are going at it again. Shamia's telling us where she knows him from, but she never dated him. Andy, thank you, Andy. Andy actually asked Phaedra and Portia, why didn't you say something when Angela actually said on the phone with Ashley that she didn't mention sex? And Portia lies that she didn't think that she meant that. It was something else. And Phaedra didn't cover that at all. They asked Drew about vindication. And Andy said something about two things can be true. Andy, I don't know what you're talking about other than the fact that you want to make Portia and her team right. This is crazy. Kelly's yelling to Angela, you don't want people talking about your husband, but why are you always talking about somebody else's husband over the whole couch? Kelly, that's my one thing against you. You speak too loudly. Everybody's in the same room. Why are you doing all that? Thank you, CC. Angela A, thank you for your support of the channel. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. So Kelly's yelling over the couch, and Portia again was lying for Angela, because Angela did get caught in a lie. I don't care if they're saying she's vindicated. She got caught in a lie. So we see the flashback. Shamia's in Scotland in that fur hat. She did say verbatim, Shamia, just leave it alone. Okay, you're not going to be right in this situation. Leave it alone. A viewer question wants to know, why does Angela want Shamia to lose her job with the Hawks? And Angela says, I don't want her to lose her job with the Hawks and the Falcons. I want her to keep her job. She's the one saying that she doesn't need the job, but I don't want her to lose her job. Angela, I thought that was kind of trifling. You seem to be a little bit annoyed, maybe a little jealous that Shamia has a job that she doesn't need. But let's follow Angela's logic all the way through. If the only women that can work jobs are women that don't need them, Charles is rich. So that would say that, Angela, you don't need your job on this show. You don't need your portfolio of houses, but you're allowed to do that. And I'm happy and proud that you're doing it. So stop trying to get Shamia fired. You too, Portia. I'm tired of it. I don't like one housewife being able to ice out another one or say who should stay or who should go. We as the viewers, we can do that. We can give enough negative feedback, which might have the opposite effect. Like Bobblehead Darby, I think that she stays because we talk about her so bad. It's engagement. And Bravo looks at it as good or bad, it's engagement. So trying to get Shamia fired, to me, is just not going to work. AB says, listen, Angela will take it to hell if they talk about her or Charles. That's a good point, AB, because either Kelly or Shamia brought up, you said at the beginning of the season, you didn't care if he's sleeping with the ice cream lady. They actually showed us the flashback. I think it was the candy lady. If they say Charles is caught with the candy lady, I don't care. But she does. She does care. Cece said, was it proven that Shamia almost lost her NBA job? Or are we taking Shamia's word? Because, Cece, they spoke about an investigation. I don't know that there was a real investigation. I think that is something that she said. I don't know. Because Shamia, again, she's been caught in a couple of lies. So Kelly had to pipe in to help her friend. Okay, Michelle, ain't you in this alliance too? Okay, Michelle ain't said a word, putting his pipe all the way down. And AB said, okay, thank you, Cece. Yeah, what happened to the investigation, Shamia? We want to know more about that. Y'all, Shamia is over on YouTube living her best life. She just took the girls on a trip to Disney. I want to see more of that. I want to see her rich wife life. Stop arguing with these women. So Kelly yelled over everybody. Angela says, everybody's been lying on her husband, and she wants them to stop doing it. Angela had the nerve to say, Kelly, you get a husband, you'll understand. Kelly lets us know again, I had a husband for 11 years. Wow, she said, and I didn't have to get pregnant to get him. Is that how Angela got Charles? She got pregnant? I don't know. Kelly, that's a little bit below the belt, but you and Angela are going back and forth, so I'll allow it. And she says, he even remembered that he married me, so don't play with me. Hope. Kelly's talking crazy. So she kind of got Angela on that one. Angela was a little bit silent after she said that. And Shamia looks like, get her, Kelly. No, we don't need Kelly to get her, Shamia. You fight your own battles if you're going to fight them. Because Shamia picks a lot of fights, but then she looked like, Kelly, you were there. What you going to say? No, I want you, Shamia, if you're going to pick these fights, finish it. And if you're not equipped to do so, then just live your rich life. That's kind of what I want to see anyway out of her. So we find out a viewer wants to know, has Angela really forgiven Portia? She says that she did forgive Portia because the difference is Shamia takes no accountability. Portia's taking accountability. And Portia says some kind of long story. I said that disgusting thing and I apologize for the comment. Angela, of course, forgives Portia because Andy Cohen, NBC Universal, everybody else and their mama love Portia and they don't really like Shamia right now. Shamia says something that I agree with. You got more smoke for me than somebody who threatened to sleep with your husband and tried to sleep with your husband. Now, Shamia put a little bit of Giselle's hot sauce on it because Portia said, if you don't leave me alone, I'll F Charles. But we don't know that Portia really made any move toward actually trying to F Charles. So at one point, Portia tells Shamia to shut up, stop talking, stop interjecting, or I'll let everybody know what happened last BET weekend. Portia, what happened last BET weekend? Because I noticed that Gerald and Kelly went with her this time. So what happened the one before that, Portia? I don't know. Y'all, I don't mind this feud. The only thing I don't like about it is that I think Shamia is still really wounded over the friendship. And I don't understand why, because Portia don't like you, girl. And this could make for good TV. But the only thing that makes it a little cringe to watch is Shamia so hurt over it. And I don't know why. AB says Jesus and Whiskey is switching sides next season. AB, she could barely stay on that couch. I thought she was going to snatch Cynthia off the chair and go over there now. We'll see what happens by the end of part 3. You think they're going to let her sing Jesus and Whiskey? Okay, Michelle, I hope they let you sing. And while you're at it, Cynthia could sing too. Cece said, if there are no husbands or mates on the reunion at all, I'm going to feel some type of way. Classic RHOA always had the men there. Cece, that's right. We just jumped on Derek for telling Pinky that even her head looks swollen. And he looks like he's back in Atlanta. So Charles want to know where your husband's at. Charles, I want to know too. Because Charles might have said, look, I'm not going to be the only husband sitting out here again. Cece, that's a good question. We got to wait for part 3 to find out. AB says, I was wondering as well, Cece. I didn't see him. Yeah, nobody came to New York. Again, this is Real Housewives. Now, Portia's single. Kelly's divorced. Cynthia Bailey's divorced. We don't need to see LaPrince. LaPrince minds his business. But we would only have what? Derek? Charles? I don't know. Apparently, it goes down at BET weekend, but unlike Vegas, it doesn't stay there. Yes, Cece, Shamia, if you're going to be out here garden tooling like that, you might better do it in Vegas because at least somebody will keep your confidence in Vegas. AB. Seems like everything goes down at the BET weekend. They sure do. That is a mess. And Ophelia speaking to Angela A. Y'all, that's too much. I know Gerald, and Gerald don't like to make appearances, but guess who was at BET this year? Gerald. He left the Shilohs with somebody. He said, Mama Morton, come get these kids. I'm going to BET weekend with my wife. So Shamia, we don't know what happened, but Portia said, you better shut up. She going to tell us. Portia, go over here on YouTube and do it. Or get on a live and let us know. So a viewer has a really silly question. Andy, why'd you ask this question? They want to know what is a hot chili cheese Frito punani and what is a platinum puss? Kelly says, my husband wanted it. Kelly, you and this man just divorced each other. So I don't know if he wanted it or not. And Portia's saying something about her platinum puss. Portia, I don't know. Kelly, did you really do that? I don't know. She said she was taking a garden tool bath and Kelly was down there like, I'd like to have a piece of that. So yeah, we never really found out if that is the case or not. So then we get proof from Portia. While they were at break, I forgot to mention, Drew came in Portia's room trying to find out what's going on. Portia has this long story about, yeah, I hired a guy to do a lie detector test and I passed the test. So Portia, you are a trip. Andy wants to know, now where's the proof that Kelly's sleeping with the married man? Portia says, I'm the proof. Portia, this sounds like a lie. I don't know. They go back and forth on names. They don't want to name names. Kelly's mad. And Phaedra, nobody even believed it until you okayed it. Phaedra's telling a long, drawn out, calm story. Yes, he is my client. And another thing, I don't want to, tell his business. And Kelly Potter from Atlanta, another viewer question, also happens to be a cast member. She wants to know, Phaedra, why are you trying to protect a cheating man and not protect the woman? And that's when Phaedra's giving this long story about, well, this is my client. Kelly says, I'm your client too. And I say, Kelly, not for long, because Phaedra took that case pro bono. And you'd have too many times to yell over at me at the top of your lungs before you would be no bono. I wouldn't be working for you anymore, Kelly. And she got the twins and the other kids back on the show. Allegedly, we'll see. I wouldn't brag, Kelly. I've seen your husband. AB, them wedding pictures are tragic. Tragic. That's top tier housewives hiring a lie detector test. AB. And then Bravo is so messy. Portia and Drew were back there in the dressing room and they were showing Portia taking the test and the guy Portia was showing it on her phone and Drew was listening. So of course, Portia, you hired the guy, so of course you passed the test. Phaedra better protect her clients that pay. Thank you. And y'all, even Bobby Brown's name came up again after Pinky told her, win a case. Ask Bobby Brown. Now, Bobby has been in the news saying that. I always bring that up because y'all know I'm a King of Stage fan. I love Bobby Brown. But Bobby, Cece said at that time, you deserve to be in trouble. So you can't put all that on Phaedra. And American Born says Phaedra needs to drop Kelly, period, point blank. Yeah, I can't see Phaedra still being her attorney after that. And then saying she didn't have a brick and mortar. Kelly, where were you sitting at when they had that big meeting in there with all those attorneys and you strolled in late with your Starbucks? Where was that at? It looked like a brick and mortar to me. So did this happen now? I have Shamia apologizes again. This is a mess. So Andy Cohen says, Shamia, do you want to apologize just in case? I don't know who it was to. Oh, Angela, do you want to apologize? Shamia says, I don't know anything about Charles being a cheater. But Shamia, you were insinuating that. And that's what Angela said. You said he don't like to come home. Shamia said, he said he don't like to come home. This is why people get mad at Shamia. Shamia, that is a mess. She says, I apologize sincerely. I don't know of him being a cheater, but she said he don't like to come home. He joked that he don't like to come home. But since it bothers her, I won't say it again. Y'all, they asked for Angela's apology. Angela's apology is, I don't know if you're sleeping with all the Hawks. I don't know if you're sleeping with all the Falcons, but a source told me that you were, and I apologize if you're not, but I still believe the source. Andy asked her who the source was. Portia sat there looking. Portia, are you the source? It's either Portia or Charles or one of Charles's NBA friends. I don't know. Y'all, I watched this on Peacock. I heard Dominique Wilkins' name came up. Dominique Wilkins, why did your name come up? Because you're a married man as well. So I don't know, y'all. I used to love myself some Dominique Wilkins. He had a fine brother named Gerald too. So Dominique Wilkins, are you the source? I don't know. You know, those old NBA players are some gossiping men. AB says, Kelly is dumb. Yelling at someone helping you, shaking my head. She is dumb. AB, I couldn't believe she was doing that. And the way Phaedra was looking at her was like, as soon as I get back, I'm drafting this paperwork. So for you to say, I'm a client too. You were a client. I don't think you're a client going forward. Cece says, Phaedra has several brick and mortar businesses to work from. The law firm, Willie Watkins, that high-end clothing boutique, her Reiki spa. Yeah, she has at least, and then this show, the other shows that she does, she has a good 6 income sources that we can count. A good 6. AB says, Shamia, you see Charles because you and Mama Morton out in the streets. AB, she said when she's out there, she see Charles. And Charles says when he's out there, he see her. So I don't know. Is Charles the source? And are Shamia and Charles running out there telling on each other because maybe there was some attraction in the past. Angela, is that why you can't stand Shamia? Because I could see Charles talking slick about, yeah, Shamia's so fine, this, that, and the other. So I don't know. I bet the source is tied to Charles if it's not him. Cece, that was my first thought. If it's not him, it's one of his old NBA friends. Sandra, men gossip here. Not the same way women do, but they gossip. Cece, that's why they stay in the barbershop every week talking about they need a lineup. Your hair looks all right to me. So they are, Shamia's apologizing again. Angela's standing by her source. Portia is the proof. And y'all, that might be it. That was the end of part 2 of the reunion. And then we're going to get 3 parts. I can see why it's a 3-part reunion, but Andy, I think you oversold it. I don't know what he's talking about. I give part 1 maybe an 8 and part 2 as well. I don't have a 10. I don't give it a 10 out of 10. So AB says, when I was still working, the men were 10 times worse than the women about gossiping. AB, they still doing that. Because I work with a lot of men. And yeah, they do. They talk about everybody. And I act like I don't know anything. And that's when they'll start telling you everything. So I love that. It makes me laugh. Because that is women. And it's not. It's them. So everybody, that is the end of the episode. And let's see. Are we at a good hour? Probably over. I'm going to see if I have anything else to share on the reunion. Of course, it's jumped off on social media. Okay, this is Angela's shady, terrible apology. I'm going to show that. And of course, I'll have to stop it a little bit. Because Angela, I can't say I loved this. I don't think this was fair.
Try to. So Portia tried to.
No, that's what you said. Since you want to bring me the back in it, oh, here I am.
You've been in it.
This is why Angela is holding on to this, because there is zero accountability outside of me in that pool event.
Okay.
I said that nasty, disgusting comment. I apologized for it and asked her, could we move forward? She gave me grace, move forward,
Okay.
right? However, I have been quiet this whole time while everybody's like, well, I was just laughing at what Portia said. I didn't say anything. I didn't say, that's not true. Kelly was screaming that Charles had a baby, a secret baby on Angela. You were saying that Charles has a woman in New York. He's been in the streets. He's this
Bitch,
and that.
what?
I was the, oh, hold on. I was the
Shamia, you're lying. Y'all see the way Shamia did that neck move? What? Yeah, she's lying, y'all. But I feel like Angela should have given her a real apology. And maybe, let's see, this part of the reunion, this might have been better than the first part. Y'all, I'm in the comments. I said they can only be on the show if they need the job. Charles is rich, so that would include Angela also then. But yeah, that it pretty much the second part of the reunion. That y'all look at Cynthia sitting next to Portia, between Angela and Portia, so that is pretty funny. And Shamia liked the comment where the person says that she deserved. Well, she says, damn, Angela, that's an apology. So that's the Bravo Shade Room. And Shamia, I want Shamia to get off social media. She liked the comment, so that is pretty funny. Let me see if there is any other comments, and then this will be a good place to end. Not a 10 either. I give it an 8.5. Yeah, AB, I don't know what Andy is praising so much. Sharon says I give it an 8. Yeah, that's a fair score. It's a B. It's not a 10 of 10. So I don't know what he's talking about. But y'all, that is the second part of the reunion. So I am going to start catching up on my other content. Thank every creator that came in here to support me. Kiwan JTV, I saw Shayna McD, thank you so much. Subscribers that came in, anyone that was in the bushes, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. As always, click the like button, either on the way in or the way out. Angela A, thank you for your support of me and of this channel. I appreciate that. And AB, as always, I appreciate your compliments and your support. Great review, Sandra. Thank you so much. I appreciate the engagement. Thank you. And everyone, I will see you in the YouTube streets. See you, Sharon. Bye.
I don't think that he's good for you.
How do you know what's good for me?
That's my opinion!
Don't you get it? Why can't anybody have an opinion but you?
That I don't think that he's good. That I don't.